troubles wait at every turn. I know I can go on, but love, the journey is long. The destination's near. The troubles wait at every turn. I know I can go on. So brothers, take my hand, and sisters, sing my song. The troubles wait at every turn. I know I can go on. Checking my mic. Funny thing. Thank you, Clay. So unfortunately, Susan Moody is ill. She came down with some bronchitis type of a bug just yesterday. So I want to thank Susan Moody for her chalice lighting that she wrote, and I will fill in for her today. And my name, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Reverend Dana Lightsey. I use she, her pronouns, and we are glad that all of you are here today. I love this statement. We are a come as you are congregation, and you are welcome here just as you are. I want to extend a special welcome to any visitors today. We would love to stay connected with you. So please sign up for our communications at the main entrance. Here at Namakwa, we foster a beloved community that celebrates diversity, strives for peace and justice, acts mindfully for the good of the planet, and inspires spiritual growth through the free and loving search for truth and meaning. We honor the ground we walk upon and acknowledge this land as the traditional ancestral homeland of many indigenous tribes, including the Arapaho, Cheyenne, Lakota, and Ute nations, to name a few. We recognize and honor the Native people as original stewards of this land and vow to reconcile the deep wounds that still shape our world today. So today, we are collecting donations. We are focusing on the challenges of homelessness today. And thank you for those of you who brought donations. I wanted to let you know that we'll be taking donations and taking them to Homeward Alliance all month. So if you didn't see the announcements or you didn't remember or anything like that, or don't worry. And we've already got quite a bit of stuff up here, so I will take this to Homeward Alliance and we'll just keep it going. How's that sound? Good. By the way, I never told you, but last winter we collected a lot of donations for all of the immigrants that were being bused up to Denver from Texas. Well, we completely packed our Honda CR-V twice with donations, and I wanted to let you know that. So thank you for your generosity for that. We are continuing to do postcards that we are mailing to Georgia to remind people to vote. Oh, You've got I don't know what that is.
This is about a little postcard party on August 27th.
Oh, I had no idea. Okay, I guess we're having a postcard writing party on August 27th. I will order. We are going through postcards so fast you would not believe it. So thank you all for all of your work on the postcards. It's very exciting to see. And I will have some of you help me put more packets together. And we will also have a postcard writing party on August 27th. Here at the church?
No, at our house.
Cherry's house?
It's all on this sheet.
She's going to pass that sheet around, I suspect. Here it comes. Thank you. Thank you, Cherry. And by the way, we also need a little help paying for the stamps and the supplies. So if you feel like helping us out with a few dollars, just drop them in the box for the postcards and we'll get it that way. So thank you for that. This coming Friday, we have another open mic night. Open mic night is really fun. I highly recommend it. So if you want to be a part of it, or if you want to just come as an audience, that either way is great. Musicians, poets, jugglers, anybody who has something to share is welcome. We have a very important, as part of our summer of service, we have the Roots of Injustice, the Seeds of Change workshop coming up. This is a special interactive workshop that explores the historical injustices faced by Indigenous people and discusses ways to foster healing and positive change in our relationships with Indigenous people. Please register for this because we're limited to only 50 people, and last I counted, we're at about 32 registrations. So if you could register, I think you can get to the link on our website. If you just go to the website, I asked Chantel to put the link on the front page. So please do. There is a $20 donation if you're willing and able to do that. And if you want to donate less, that's great too. Next Sunday, as we continue working through our summer of service, Junior Worship Associate Avery Ford, Sherry McTee's granddaughter, is my worship associate. It's going to be so fun. I know. And we're focusing on sustainability and clothing. Did you know that clothing is the second largest polluter in the world next to oil and gas? I know. Who knew? I had not known that before. So we're focusing on clothing, and I invite you to bring your old, gently used clothes, and we're going to do a clothing swap. We did this last year, and it was a huge success. It was just a big experiment, so we're going to experiment again. Are you all up for that? Great, thank you. So thank you for bringing clothes to swap next week. Please join us for coffee hour after the service. That's where the real fun is, in case you didn't know. And today we'll be doing joys and sorrows in our usual manner. So if you have a personal joy or sorrow and you would like to share in today's service, but don't want to come to the microphone, please feel free to write it down on a piece of paper. And we did have forms in the back. Are they there? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Somebody knows. Thank you. So feel free to fill out a form and put it in the basket when the ushers collect the collection. So I want to thank everyone who's a part of today's service. It's great to have Slip back here on piano and voice, and I think a little guitar later on, and Janen's doing our story, and thanks to Clay and Kat for running sound and Zoom and everything else. So thank you. So as we turn towards our service, I want to share with you a brief reading by Barbara Myers called Human Kindness Helps Heal. Dr. Mark Reagans is a staff psychiatrist at the Village an integrated service agency in Long Beach, California, that is renowned for its success in treating difficult psychiatric cases, often involving homelessness, schizophrenia, and substance abuse. He says, when I ask psychiatric patients what have we done well and what has helped them, they almost always recount some moment of human connection. It was when you hugged me, and I could tell that you knew it pained me to have my child taken away. It was when you believed in me, when I could not believe in myself. It was when you lent me $5 even though you're not supposed to. It was when you drove me home from the hospital in your car, even though I was really smelly. It was when I knew you really cared and wouldn't give up on me. I knew you really cared and you wouldn't give up on me. In other words, it was when they were the recipient of an act of human kindness or when someone believed in them. These moments are what help in the healing. Here is where the faith community comes in. People of faith are experts in human kindness. I see a lot of experts out there. I do. We can believe in people. We can see something inside them that they are not able to see themselves. We can give acceptance and love, and even when an illness is untreated or a person feels hopeless. And these may be central factors in their recovery. So my expert friends, come, let us worship together. And please join with me in saying our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Let us share the spirit of love by greeting those around you. Thank you.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving as love shows us all. Wake now my reason and
So my favorite story in the Bible is a very important one for us to remember and an important one for us to teach our kids. And I was hoping that our kids would be here today to help me share it with the rest of you. I even brought Jesus. And wine. And other things, but I'll spare you. The thing is, though, an article I read said how we really do need to instill values in our little people by telling them stories and also walking them through the life that they live in. They did an experiment in this article where they watched kids before at a preschool and, took all these notes of how they behaved together and stuff. And then they took them through a course of compassion and empathy and taught them, like case-by-case scenarios of how they could be in the world. And they changed. We sometimes just think little people are little adults, and we just assume that they just learn these things because they're here. I don't know what we think, but it's really like impressed me that we need to walk them through scenarios and speak very plainly and teach them these, age-old stories that are so profound. And so it's my goal in RE this year to do a lot more of that, because sometimes we just, the lessons go over their head and we don't really pay attention to them. So without further ado, one day a lawyer came to Jesus and asked what he needed to do to go to heaven. Or you might say, to live, what does it take to live your best life? And Jesus answered, what? You guys know? Love your neighbor as yourself. It's been a while, I know. So the man asked, who is my neighbor? Right? Who's my neighbor? And instead of answering him, Jesus told him a story. Once a man was walking on a lonely stretch of road between Jerusalem and Jericho. And what happened? A band of thieves jumped out of the bushes and beat this man up, took all his money, took all his clothes, and just left him there to die. After a time, a priest came who was a spiritual leader. And he saw the man there on the side of the road, and he was in a hurry, and what did he do? He just crossed over to the other side and kept on walking. Then another man came, and the same thing. He felt very bad for the man. He saw the blood, he saw how hot it was, but he just, didn't know how to deal with that big of a situation, and he hurried on his way. Eventually, someone else came down the road who was a good Samaritan, riding on his donkey. And the people of Samaria were not friendly with the people of this man's country. In fact, the wounded man's people hated the Samaritans. They thought they were lowlifes. They were very inferior people. But the Samaritan man did not hesitate when he saw the man lying by the side of the road. He didn't stop to think about whether he should help him because of where he was from or what group the man belonged to. He saw that this man needed help, and he felt compassion. We could explain that compassion means love, kindness. He wanted to help this man. So the Samaritan took healing oil and wine from his bag and cleaned the man's wounds, bound them up with bandages that he tore from his own shirt. He covered him with a robe. He gave the man a drink of water, helped the man onto his donkey. And very slowly, for the man was in great pain and the road was long, they walked to the next town. And there the Samaritan found an inn and a kind innkeeper, and he and the innkeeper made this man as comfortable as they could, and the Samaritan gave the innkeeper money to keep this man until he could recover. And the next day the Samaritan had to go on with his travels, but he said he'd come back on his way back, and if the innkeeper needed any more money, he would pay him. So when Jesus finished telling the story, he asked the lawyer which one of these three men acted like a neighbor to the man who fell among thieves. And the lawyer said, the one who showed kindness. Yes, said Jesus, go and do the same. It's been said that the greatness of a nation can be judged by how it treats its weakest members. And I know Kathy has told me when she lived in Germany, there's no homeless. They take care of their own. It's just, nations can do that. We all need to be good neighbors to everyone in our community. And of course, if you were telling this story to kids, you'd want to liken it to, when they go back to school, there'll probably be those kids that aren't treated as good as other children, and they can, you can talk to, what could you do in that case? You could invite them to come play with you and your friends and, and be a good Samaritan. So, thank you.
Thank you, Janen. Great story as always. So, I'm going to share with you the words that Susan wrote for our chalice lighting, but she felt it was very important to actually light the chalice first instead of after. The changing face of the homeless. May this light, which is a symbol of our beloved community at Namakwa, be a beacon to understanding the changing face that is homelessness in America today. May we all feel compassion and empowerment to do the best we can to help with this situation, which is a continuing dire situation. Working Americans who are going daily to jobs are a part of the homeless epidemic here in the United States right now. The general public doesn't realize this is happening because they don't occupy public spaces. They don't have substance abuse issues or mental health problems for the most part. They simply can't afford the rent and are trying to get ahead, but the deck is stacked against them. There is no federal data on unhoused workers, but shelter administrators and local groups report that there is an uptick of unhoused workers in their facilities. A severe lack of affordable housing is a part of this conundrum. The strong labor market with rising wages hasn't been able to offset the financial strains of inflation. These star-crossed individuals are working towards saving enough to cover first and last month's rent, plus a security deposit which is required by most landlords. Additionally, every day, living expenses are not going down, and rent moratoriums, stimulus checks, and other government support has dried up. Fearful of losing their jobs, these folks are forced to shower at gyms, wash their clothes at truck stops, and try to maintain some semblance of normalcy at work. Otherwise, they may lose their jobs or face discrimination at their workplaces because of their living situations. According to the Washington Post on July 29th of this year, they're trapped in an impossible situation, making too much money to qualify for food stamps and other types of government assistance, but not enough to secure housing. Here in Loveland, at Namakwa, we have been participating this year in a program that helps the unhoused people who are living in their vehicles. It's called Safe Lot. And I feel privileged to be a part of it. In fact, Susan Moody is our point person for this program with our congregation. She goes on to say, we are working together with Zion Lutheran Church to help a group of working and retired people who have gotten clearance through a thorough vetting process to stay in Zion's parking lot from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next morning. We have from 4 to 7 people stay at the church lot each night. And by the way, during the really hot days that we did have, thankfully are gone, Zion actually had them staying inside their building. Each has a vehicle, and our wonderful Namakwa volunteers have built a porta potty enclosure around the premises. Some of you helped with that. Every other month on Tuesdays and Thursdays, volunteers provide a home-cooked meal for those who stay there. There are also volunteer jobs for morning and evening lot hosts as well as spots for volunteers to wash laundry that accumulates. On Thursdays, they each meet with their caseworker who is helping them to make a plan to find a place that they can afford to live. When I volunteer to serve a meal at Safe Lot, I always sit down with these wonderful people and chat. They are a great group, each with a story to tell and interests that bring joy. One is a fisherman, another is interested in astronomy, and another has a small dog that cohabits in his vehicle. I hope all of you have an opportunity to help any way you can with our Safe Lot project. This month, Safe Lot is at King of Glory Lutheran Church, but next month in September, they will be back at Zion Lutheran Church, and we will have an opportunity to participate. The way to sign up is on the Sign Up Genius website, found on our weekly newsletter at the end of August and then through September. I hope that all made sense. You can sign up on our website. If you have questions, feel free to contact Susan Moody, and if you want her number, I can give it to you later. So we light our chalice for all of the ways that we can make a difference through Safe Lots and through other organizations living our values. Thank you. And that leads perfectly into our offering because each week we give half of our donations to a nonprofit. And for the months of July and August, we chose Safe Lots. So Safe Lots can use this money in a lot of ways. They'll be using it to purchase basic supplies, cleaning the porta potties, which actually is more expensive than they thought it would be, car repairs for all of the people who have issues with their cars, helping get people into an apartment. That down payment, what we donate will help with that. And also helping to start another lot, which will cost about $5,000 to get another lot going. I wish we had a parking lot to use, but we don't. So please give generously in helping support Safe Lots and our congregation as well. Thank you.
Hi, Clay. Hey, thanks. Can you hear the guitar? Beautiful. I'm going to sing this Woody Guthrie tune that you may or may not know. I ain't got no home in this world anymore. And it's not a big, long chorus. It's just a one-line refrain at the end of every verse. It goes, and I ain't got no home in this world anymore. So anyone who would like to join in, I'll sing 3 lines of a verse, and then everyone can join me. Let's practice run. And I ain't got no home in this world anymore. Beautiful. I ain't got no home, I'm just rambling around. I work when I can, I roam from town to town. Police make it hard wherever I may go, and I ain't got no home in this world anymore. I was farming shares and I was always poor. Drought had got my crops and my bankers at my door. My wife took down and died upon the cabin floor, and I ain't got no home in this world anymore. I minded your mines and I gathered your corn. I've been working, mister, since the day that I was born. I worry all the time like I never done before, and I ain't got no home in this world anymore. Well, now I just ramble around to see what I can see. This wide, wicked world is sure a funny place to be. The gambling man is rich and the working man is poor, and I ain't got no home in this world anymore. and I'm stranded on this road that goes from sea to sea. 100,000 others are stranded here with me. 100,000 others, yes, 100,000 more. And I ain't got no home in this world anymore. And I ain't got no home in this world anymore.
Isn't that great piece? I never knew that song before, that Woody Guthrie song. Isn't that great? Yeah, thank you. So I want to thank you all for the financial ways that you are supporting Safe Lots and the congregation. And I also want to take a moment and bless all of your donations that you've brought in this morning and that you will be bringing in throughout the month. So I want to thank you for all of that. If you are looking for a list, I made 25 copies, but I can make more of the list of donations that are needed for Homeward Alliance. They ask that you don't donate anything that is not on that list. So please only donate what is on that list. They don't have room for anything else. So may we take a moment and just bless all of the items, the financial gifts, and the physical gifts that we are giving. May they be a blessing to those who need it the most. And may our intentions of living our values and caring, truly caring for those who need it, flow through all of our gifts. May it be so. Amen. Thank you. And we take care of each other, don't we? I loved Janen's story, and it reminded me that my 3 granddaughters, who are, the twins are 6 and their big sister is 8. You can imagine the fights. And the refrain that we come back to again and again is we take care of each other. We take care of each other. Figure it out. We take care of each other. And we take care of each other here in the ways that we share our personal stories and what's happening in our lives. So if you happen to have a brief personal joy or sorrow that you would like to share, we invite you to come forward to the microphone, or I can bring it to you. And so I do have one written one, and I have a couple of others. And we have Kat up there watching the chat box and on Zoom, if anybody on Zoom wants to post anything. So first of all, can we have some gratitude for the cooler temperatures and all the rain? Wow, what a difference. I actually had to wear a turtleneck for a day. And our gratitude especially to the firefighters and the army of people who helped all of those who evacuated, and the utility folks who got everything up and running again the best that they could, except of course for the 26 homes that were lost and 21 other buildings, I believe, and 4 buildings, 4 houses that were damaged. So may we hold all of those who were affected by loss in this fire, in both fires that were close to us. May we hold them in our hearts and help in any way that we can. I do know that they have had plenty of donations. We would have taken more donations for that cause today, except they have plenty and they don't need any more. Cool! How amazing is that, right? Wow. And I wanted to mention that, well, I might be taking a joy away from Kat and Clay. I was going to mention your move. It is a joy. I don't know if you can. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Okay. Okay. So, Kat and Clay are moving in together. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, and Ocean too. he comes with a package. And Clay's cat. Yep. So he'll have 2 cats in his life. Sorry, I couldn't resist. And they could use some help with moving. So if any of you are able and willing to help move boxes or watch Ocean while other people move boxes, they would be grateful for your help. They could use a couple of people on August 18th when Clay is moving in. That's on a Sunday. That's next Sunday. So it'll be after the church service. Or on August 24th, when Kat and Ocean move in, they could use 4 or 5 people on August 24th around 9:30 in the morning. They are in Longmont. Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, they do. They are living in Longmont, and their new house is in Longmont. So there we go. So if you can help them, if you'll talk to our AV crew up there, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah. And we hold you in our hearts. Yeah? Do we? Yes, we hold you in our hearts and wish you all the best on this new chapter of your lives. And another joyful thing is today is Marie Steen's 91st birthday. Isn't that cool? Is Marie online today? Can we, I just want to invite you all to stand up, turn around, face the camera, and let's sing her happy birthday, shall we? Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marie. Happy birthday to you. And many, many more. And knowing Marie, she was playing her ukulele along with us while we were singing. Happy birthday, Marie. Well, here we go. Mim.
Hi, actually, I want to share a major sorrow for this entire congregation. One of the pillars of this group, one of the kindest, most generous people any of us ever knew, Shirley Rawson, has died. And she's someplace, her daughters are with her someplace in Wisconsin. If we find out how to get anything, I should have prepared for this, I didn't, but if we can find an address where you can send something.
I have an address. If anyone wants it, I can give it to you.
Well, we have had an address in the weekly announcements. We've had an address.
Right. But I can also.
You have a different one? Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
Thank you.
This would be to her daughters. Well, it would be to their house, but I think, her daughter.
We'll figure it out and send a notice out. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for letting us know. And is it your birthday? You don't have to tell us. Not till tomorrow? Well, happy birthday. I think she's underplaying it, so we'll let her. Okay.
I have a joy. Mary Ellen and I have a dear friend who is an artist out at the Sculpture in the Park, and she stays with us every August. And so her name is Tenyo. She's Japanese, and she's in Tent C. So if anyone's going out there, it's going to be a beautiful day. Please look up Tenyo in Tent C. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we hold Tenyo in our hearts.
Thank you, my friends, our family. I have a granddaughter and grandson who need some extra prayers, so I wanted to ask for your support for them today. They're having a challenging week ahead. Their names are Tavin and Tegan Hudson, and I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Tavin and Tegan in our hearts.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, with love. Come on up. Awesome.
Tomorrow, sorry, I'm Donna. Tomorrow is my daughter's 18th birthday. Taylor, stand up, Taylor. Oh, okay, she's not standing up. And Mims as well. She's 18 yet again. And what's awesome is that Mim is gonna go home with us today and celebrate with our family. Yes.
How wonderful. Happy birthday to you both. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Elaine. And this whole topic we're talking about today and continuing on, I want to just kind of bring it home. Some of you may have known Elizabeth Frazier. She rented my basement for 4 years and lived with me, and I got to know her real well. And she went back east to try and find a better job than she had here. Well, she's been living in her car for quite some time now. And so what we're doing here is very important, and I would never question why anyone is unhoused, because it could happen to any of us, honestly. So thank you for what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hold Elizabeth in our hearts. May she find her way forward. Yeah, thank you.
I have a sorrow and kind of a blessing at the same time, in that my baby sister died here last week. She was 72, but she's been in a nursing home in a bed, fed by a tube for probably the last 3 years. So anyway, she passed this last week. We're kind of mourning that, but now we've got to figure out how to take care of her husband, who has a house, but we don't know how he's going to maintain it. So we'll take care of that. News to come.
Well, thank you, Pete. Well, we hold you and her husband and all of you in our hearts with as you figure it out. Yeah. Wow. So many grief. We all hold grief.
Good morning. My name is Danielle, and I'm a visitor, first timer. Woo woo. I have some joy to share. I'm part of a collective effort of community members. Sorry, I might get emotional. That are working to support the 24/7 Resource Center and Shelter. So I thank you all for your important work that you do. And my joy is that last night we started a petition, a counter petition in support of the shelter. And my goal was 50 signatures by the time I got here today, and we're at 60. So, wonderful. I have a sign-up sheet. I also have QR codes and more information if anyone would be interested in supporting this cause. And I thank you for all that you do in our community. It's beautiful.
We will definitely support it, and thank you for being here. So glad.
I'm visiting here as well. My name is David, and my wife's 2 years cancer-free.
Wow, that's so fabulous. Congratulations. Yeah, so glad you're here today, too. Yeah, great.
Yeah, hi, I'm John Lewis, and a couple weeks ago, Marcia and I visited Dick Barton at the VA hospital. It's pretty traumatic. I mean, this gentleman has been a stalwart of this community, this church for so many years, and now he's flat on his back. Hardly can move even one arm, and he will be there for years. Months. I'm sorry, till the end of the year probably, or October. And then, of course, look at all of the healing, the therapy that he will be engaged in. And the amazing thing is, his attitude is good.
Thanks. Okay, great. And then one more. You've got something there, too.
This is from Dick Barton, who's here with us today. Thank you for all the support, love, prayers, cards, and all the meals and support for Carol. I am proud to be a member of such a beloved community. Dick Barton.
Yay. We love you, Dick. And Carol, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
we love both.
And we continue to hold you in our hearts as you heal and mend. And we're here for you. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Julian. I'm a visitor. But I'm really happy we were able to finally get everything unloaded from our apartment in Colorado Springs up here to Loveland. And we were just really happy to be closer to our family. We've been living down there for the past year. We've been gone away from our family for probably 3 or 4 years now. And we're finally moving back with everybody. So we're just happy to be back with some community. So.
Welcome, welcome. And we're so glad you've moved back and glad you're here. Yeah, thank you. Any others? All right.
We do have one more on
Okay.
Zoom. This is from Steve and Karen. Joy to have Dick and Carol with us today. Minor concern already resolving is that Steve is almost recovered from COVID that began on Monday.
Okay. Well, Steve, may you continue to heal well, and thanks for sharing. And we hold you in our hearts as you continue to heal from COVID. I know there are some other folks in our congregation who have COVID right now too, and may they continue to heal and recover. Okay, my friends, I invite us into a spirit of meditation as we hold all of the joys and sorrows that we have heard today, holding them in our hearts, along with all of the unspoken joys and sorrows in our congregation, all of the losses, the grief, and the new hopes and excitements and joy. I invite you to settle into your breath, noticing your breath in and out in a natural swing. And I invite you, if you feel like it, to put your hand on your heart. What is on your heart today? So much of the value of life is in relationship and connection. I invite you to consider the unspoken joys and sorrows of those around you, all that we carry with us. And I invite you now to imagine a person experiencing homelessness. Can you feel compassion for this person? Can you meet their gaze? Look in their eyes. Do you see their humanity, their sadness, their grief, and their hope? What is the kindest thing you could do for this person right now? Imagine yourself doing it. Maybe listening to their stories, reminding them of their own inherent worth and dignity, believing in them, caring for them, and easing their struggles. And even now, with a siren in our background, someone is suffering. May they be well. May they be cared for. And may we continue to open our hearts, going against the stream of our culture by opening our hearts with compassion and love rather than condemnation and judgment. May we open our hearts with love. Amen.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and for this we live.
So I wonder, what goes through your mind when you encounter a homeless person? Maybe this person is sleeping on a park bench or pushing a cart across a street. Maybe they are just sitting on the sidewalk or standing on a street corner with a sign asking for help. How would you feel sleeping in public with nowhere else to go? Would you shake hands with a person living on the street? Or are you afraid to touch them, to look at them in the eye? What is there to fear? Are you afraid they will assault you, or, as we used to say in elementary school, you'll get their cooties? Somehow we're afraid they might defile us. Back in the spring of 1983, after 3 years of college, I decided to drop out. I had been principal flutist at the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley, and I was burned out. Late that spring, the city had a terrible hailstorm with baseball to softball size hail. So I got a summer job roofing. Logical thing to do. I had been a varsity gymnast and I could physically handle it, even though it was crazy hard. I enjoyed the challenge. Well, since I wasn't in school, in August, Galveston, Texas was hit with a hurricane. That was Hurricane Alicia. So our roofing crew decided we would go down to Texas and rebuild the roofs down there. And we thought we were going to make really good money, right? But unfortunately, no one trusted out-of-towners with Yankee accents. I didn't even know they called them Yankee accents. I didn't know I had a Yankee accent. And there was no way they were going to let a roofing team on any roof with a girl on the crew. This is Galveston, Texas, 1983. So for the first time in my life, I found myself living out of my 1965 covered pickup truck. At first, we slept in our cars on the beach, and we were kicked off of there, so we would go out and try to find a quiet parking lot and hope for the best. At least half the nights we were woken by the police shining lights through our windows and pounding on the doors, telling us to move on. Well, it was novel at first, but the novelty was wearing off quickly. I remember this moment just after I arrived. I was walking down the street, and I realized the only money that I had was this one single dime in my pocket. Back then, it was just enough for one phone call. I didn't use it for a phone call, though, knowing that I could. But I was lucky. I walked by a Greek restaurant just about that same moment, and they needed help, and they hired me on the spot. Only one customer came in that entire night, a very nice older man who left me a $30 tip. Now, back in '83, that was a lot of money, especially for one meal, right? The owner was rude and mean, and so I took the money and my pay for the night and went to the grocery store, bought food for the whole crew, and started to look for another job. My next job was working the graveyard shift at the Kettle Restaurant. Anybody ever heard of the Kettle Restaurant? No? Okay, they're like Denny's. It's a lot like Denny's. I started working at 10 at night and finished at 6 in the morning. And it was a very sketchy place where gang members liked to hang out. There were drug deals going on in the parking lot, and a couple shootouts actually happened. The shrimp boat captains would come in at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we'd joke around a bit, except for this one guy named Red. And every day he said the same thing to me. A good Yankee, I can't do a Southern accent. I should have Clay do this for us. A good Yankee is one who knows how to go home. So go home, Yankee. We don't want your kind. Every day. Every day he would tell me. The whole experience was very scary and hard, but I hope that you also hear in this story the privilege extended to me, even as a Yankee. I was probably just as mixed up as most 21-year-olds, but I was not mentally ill or disabled. I was white and educated and could get a job waiting tables instantly. If I had been a person of color or didn't speak the language, I guarantee my experience would have been very different. Most people living on the streets don't have a way out, as Elaine explained about her friend who was living in her basement, Elizabeth. I was there because I chose to be there. I could have called my parents at any moment and asked for money to come home, and I would have had it. They were incredibly worried about me, as you might imagine. But I was stubborn, and I was going to get through this myself, and so I didn't call them, but I kept the dime in my pocket. In fact, after 2.5 months, I had had enough. So I had enough money to drive back to Greeley, and I got a cheap apartment, and the School of Music gave me my old scholarship back. My parents were hugely relieved that I was back in school. Now, this experience did change me in some profound ways. I saw how I got breaks that others didn't just because I know how to act and appear middle-class white. I saw racism up close with my coworkers at the restaurant, all who were people of color except me. And all of us experienced sexism. My compassion and respect for those who truly struggle with living on the streets every day came from those days, and I learned that I am no better than anyone else. And neither are you, in case you didn't realize. We are no better than anyone living on the streets. No one should ever have to live that way. When many see a person experiencing homelessness, they instantly, even unconsciously, judge and condemn them for their situation. They get labeled as lowlifes and ne'er-do-wells and bums and thieves and dangerous, lazy, no good, worthless, trash, a drag on the system. We don't see their humanity, the hurt, the pain of their suffering. And you can see this happening in Loveland right now, as Donna? Was it Donna? Danielle. Oh, I know it started with a D. I was close. Okay. As Danielle was mentioning, and you might understand what she was talking about, but in case you don't, First Christian Church, the one on North Lincoln across from the cemetery, has decided to do something brilliant and radical. With their attendance dropping since the pandemic, they have voted to sell their building to the city of Loveland for it to become a center for all homelessness resources, including becoming a 24/7 shelter. Am I right, Danielle? Okay. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, First Christian. Yeah. But now that the word is getting out that they're going to do this, there is a strong effort to stop the sale from happening. There are a lot of not in my backyard comments, and there was a full page ad taken out in the Reporter Herald, you might have seen it, full of lies. It was full of lies. Where did they get that idea? Trying to stir, sorry, I couldn't resist. Trying to stir up people's fear and anxiety about having those people around. Those people. If we really want to make a difference, one of the best things that we can do right now is to support First Christian's courageous efforts by writing letters to the editor and showing up for events to support them. And now that I know there's also a petition, signing Danielle's petition. Yes. Can I hear a yes? Yes. Thank you. Kind of felt like I was alone there. You see, there's this myth of the bootstraps. This America where every person has the chance to pull themselves up by their bootstraps to make a life for themselves. This is a lie. This is a lie. As Susan Moody was telling us in her Chalice lighting, so many people are homeless working. It might be true for some of us with the privilege of the color of our skin and a lot of luck, but that attitude is an ugly justification for not caring about those in need. Let's be clear. This is the opposite of common sense morality and what Jesus taught, as Janen reminded us earlier. We need to care for people who are suffering from poverty and don't have a home from the compassion that we feel within. We are less human when we lose our compassion. We lose our humanity. We need to see them as humans, put our arms around them, take them to an end and and tend to their wounds. Our own faith tradition of Unitarian Universalism states in our covenant of shared values, one of our shared values listed is equity. Equity is one of our 6 most important values and says we declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. Now, these are not belief statements. This is a covenant that we agree to. Would you agree to that? Yes. Okay. Just checking. Making sure I'm in the right church. It goes on to say that we covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. Having people who are suffering, not tended to, without housing on our streets is not a normal part of every society. Let's be clear, as Janen also lifted up, it is a sign of a broken and dysfunctional society. It does not have to be this way. Just as our opening words remind us, people need connection and compassion. They need to feel truly seen and cared for. People experiencing homelessness, and I've validated this with many that I have spoken with, say that the hardest part is feeling invisible, disconnected, unseen, not valued, dismissed, ignored, a non-human. This is inhumane on our parts, the rest of the culture. So I challenge you, as I challenge myself, to set aside any fears that may come up for you and any biases that may come up for you, and instead continue to practice opening our hearts and minds to the humanity of those who are experiencing poverty and homelessness, to greet them with your smile, your eyes, a wave, a greeting, a handshake, a hug. Engage in conversation. Let them know that they are seen and appreciated as you are helping to care for them. We do some great efforts with this, with the community kitchen, and many of you are involved in community kitchen. Let's see a hand. Who's been a part of community kitchen? Great. So that's helping to serve meals at community kitchen. Thank you for that. Thank you all for what you do. So I hope we keep those efforts going, but let's take it another step further. Let's get to know the people that you are serving. Sit down with them, hear their stories. If you're afraid, ask yourself, why? What are you afraid of? Let your compassion guide you. The most surprising part is that you will gain the experiences of truly connecting with these brilliant, unique, thoughtful, amazing human beings who are suffering from homelessness. May our compassion for these individuals spur us on to take meaningful action, not only in Community Kitchen, but also through our advocacy to support the efforts to bring meaningful change in Loveland, inspired by our Christian friends at First Christian Church. They're actually following the Christian teachings, aren't they? Amen. Wow. Hallelujah. May we serve those in need. May we serve those who need us the most. And may we be transformed into better humans from the experience. May it be so, now and always. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe. Thank you. I invite us to sing, Guide My Feet. Please stand.
Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run
from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. Be in love, walk in peace. Thank you.